have live shrimp. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to hook him on the way I do it. There's plenty of ways to do it, so if you see my way versus another video, this is just the way I do it, and you can comment and tell me which way you like to do it, either through the back tail. I've seen people do it through the head, but I'm going to show you the way I do it. It's a little different than I've seen most people do. It seems to work for me. Either way, come on out and I'll show you how to do it. Hopefully you can see this. I have one up here already. The way I like to do it is I like to come in through the tail, and you want to make sure the shrimp isn't too big for your hook or else it won't work. So once you hook it in, push them all the way up, and I like to come back in. This shrimp is a little bigger than I am used to, but carefully without ripping, kind of just push his tail up and bring that hook all the way back so that it's barely coming out. You see him twitching? That's what you want. So then from there, we are using the high-low rig with a 3-ounce sinker at the bottom. And you want to cast it as far as you can, preferably right after the break of the waves. I saw people catching a bunch of sharks here, so hopefully we'll catch something good. Make sure your line is nice and tight, so that way your line isn't just hanging on the bottom. You want to make sure it's hanging up. The dropper loop at the very top will hang about 2 feet up. The bottom will hang about 7 inches to 12 inches above the floor. It also depends on the current, but there you go. You just sit and wait, and you want to make sure you keep an eye on that pole. Don't forget, it's easy to forget about it when you're just hanging out on the beach. Alright everybody, so unfortunately I lost a bunch of content at the beach, which is why I'm speaking here. And either way, I didn't really catch anything when I went this past time. So just stay tuned for a blooper I have at the end of this video. It's really funny. I'm going to do a little change of pace here. I'm going to show you guys how to actually make the high-low rig. And to start off, you're going to need a couple of things. First off, I'm using 25-pound test monofilament line right here. This is pretty good to use, especially if you're using braided line. You hook this on and it will make your life a hell of a lot easier. I have a pyramid sinker here. You'll need one of those. A swivel. This one right here is kind of overkill. This is about a 50-pound test on it. But you can really get away with 30-pound, maybe even 25-pound, depending. I always go a little heavier because you never know what you're going to catch, especially if you do hook onto a big fish or a shark. They could easily just break right at the leader. So definitely a good thing to know. Here we have two size 1 circle hooks. You're going to need 2 of those. Needle nose pliers and a knife. So let's get started here. What you're gonna need is you're gonna need to probably use about 2 feet of line. You're always gonna want to pull more line than you actually need. This will make it easier for you to tie the actual knots. And what you're gonna want to do is when you start the first dropper loop, give yourself enough room to where the line, you're gonna have extra line on both ends. What you're gonna do then is grab it right about there and twist it. The way I find easiest to twist is one hand goes forward and the other hand goes backwards. And that's gonna make a really tight twist. Except you wanna avoid making a loop that big. So to avoid that, you're gonna wanna pull on both ends and retwist once you get to the very end. And what that's gonna allow you to do is it's gonna make you tighten up that loop. If you see the difference, that loop is a lot tighter there than it was before. I usually pinch it right there and adjust my hands. so that I have 2 tag ends. The shorter is on my right, and what I usually do then is I make a regular square knot, same as if you were tying your shoes. And you want to make sure that your line is nice and small and easy to work with. If you notice what I just did there is I moved the twist to one side, allowing me more space on the side where I'm going to continue the knot. I end up, whoops, fix it. There we go. There we go. 2 and 3. What you do from there is you grab the needle nose pliers and you just use them as a placeholder. You will continue to loop around 3 more times on top of the needle nose pliers, leaving a gap in the twist. 2 and 3. From there, that gap is going to allow you to put the twisted part of the dropper loop sorry about that, guys. It's going to allow you to put that twisted part of the dropper loop right through, and you're going to want to slowly, the key to the dropper loop is to slowly pull both ends once you thread it through. And I found it to be effective to kind of use a little bit of saliva to keep the line from overheating and breaking. From there, you'll have your first dropper loop. If you notice right there, it's nice and sturdy, and it allows for the bait to hang further from the main line, allowing it not to get tangled. And I'm gonna show you one that I have pre-made already as what you don't want to do and what you want to do. So what I have here is one that I made earlier. And if you notice, the bottom one is pretty small compared to the other side. And this is a prime example of what you want to see when you make your dropper loops. This right here is nice and sturdy, while this one is way too flimsy. This one will get caught up on the main line, and you will notice because you will not be catching as many fish on the top versus the bottom one. Going back to our one that we're making right now, I'm actually not gonna make the second dropper loop on this one just for time's sake. You know that you'll make it about a hand's length from the first one. So the next one would, in theory, be right about here. But what I want to show you is how to attach the sinker. And what I do is you can attach the sinker in a variety of ways, but the easiest that I found is by making a loop at the base, wrapping it around your finger, and then threading it right back through like that. Alrighty, so we have the sinker put on and we have the dropper loop. Now for the swivel, and it's really easy. The way I like to attach these is with an easy knot. You just twist 6 times, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you keep your finger at the bottom. Once you are finished twisting, you put the tag end right back through that space that you left your finger in, and you just pull right down. And that's gonna be called the improvised clinch knot. Super easy to use. I always take off the tag ends. I leave about 1 centimeter of space, so that way if I do catch a fish and it tightens up more, you'll have a little bit of tag end to make sure that knot doesn't come undone. I do the same for the bottom knot, just so it doesn't get in the way. In case there is a fish, they could end up feeling that little bit of line and get spooked. So there you have it, guys. That's gonna be the high-low rig. It's gonna look more like this one because this one actually has both of the dropper loops on it. Anyway, so I hope that helps. On my next video, we're actually gonna be showing you guys footage of me actually catching fish. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of content this past weekend, and I'm going to make up for it on my next video. So stay tuned, guys, and thank you for watching. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. And yeah, thanks.
Is that bait? Huh?
Note to self, don't throw your cast net where there might be rocks, so definitely check that first, because I just ruined a $40, $50 cast net. But on the bright side, caught a puffer fish, just for you guys.